And so we continue with our Business Rescue Special. The Companies and Intellectual Property Commission has accredited the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, also known as SAICA, as a professional body for business rescue practitioners in terms of Section 138, subsection 1 of the Companies Act of 2008. It's anticipated that there's going to be a huge demand for the services of business rescue practitioners as companies grapple with the challenges that have been posed on them by the national lockdown, the end of which still is not fully in sight. Well, to tell us about the work of business rescue practitioners and the expectations during this time, I'm joined via Skype by Denga Ramuedzisi. He's a CA and a member of the SAICA Business Rescue Interest Group, and he's also a registered BRP. Thanks very much for joining us, Denga. So what are some of the signs a business needs to be aware of that may suggest they may need to consider going into business rescue?
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Some of the signs is that, the main condition is that the business must be under financial distress. And obviously, for you to pick up whether your business is in financial distress is, some of the indicators is that you are unable to pay your suppliers on time, and you don't have enough cash basically in your business to run your business, and you're starting to borrow money from other areas where you shouldn't be borrowing money from in order to run your operations. Because a healthy business generally runs itself from its own cash flows. Only when you in abnormal circumstances you would need money to borrow money from outside in order to run your business.
So you're a registered business rescue practitioner. Typically, what sort of skill set does this type of professional need to have?
The key is that you obviously need to have an understanding of the business finances. That's the one side of things. The other side of things is that you need to have a legal understanding, because the business rescue process the proceedings are very legally intensive. There are certain procedures that you need to follow within certain timeframes, as stipulated in the Companies Act. So you actually need to, if you're more like financial oriented like myself, I will have somebody from a legal background, like a lawyer, to work through the legalese with me to make sure that I don't mess up. Similarly, somebody who's more legal from a legal perspective, they'll need somebody like an accountant from my side to help them open up the financial side of things.
Is that why usually when we hear about your more high-profile cases, we tend to hear about 2 BRPs being appointed to deal with the matter?
I can't say yes, I can't say no. It's bigger matters, obviously. Like I said, the time frames that is required for you to get to know the business is so short based on the law. So normally 2 business rescue practitioners then will support each other to try and move as quickly as possible through the information that is required to get a good understanding of the business.
Yeah.
So normally, so that's what I'm saying. So normally you wouldn't, it is just so that the support is bigger and somebody is watching, being able to support each other.
Yeah, makes sense. So Denga, I wanted to ask you, when a business rescue practitioner gets a case, obviously cases will be different, but typically what would be the standard procedure in dealing with the company's weaknesses and then obviously trying to convert them into strengths for their later viability?
Look, the first thing you do as a business rescue practitioner when you go into a company, the first requirement is for you to get an understanding of what's going on in the business. You have to know how the company makes money, how the company spends its money, who it owes, and what it owns. So literally, the fundamental is just then you're trying to reorganize that to basically say, how can I make sure that what the company is generating is able to pay its debts and support the operations going forward. Obviously, the industry is sort of evolving towards more what you're asking, more into the turnaround side of things, where now we have to become, it's actually we had a webinar between SAICA and SARIPA where we were actually discussing one of these, and one of these things is that we are because of things like COVID, we might actually find ourselves as business rescue practitioners. We can move more into the turnaround specialist, where now you have to understand, play with other strategic elements, which normally are not the normal part of what we are supposed to work with.
Yes.
But to understand how to evolve the company strategy, to help the company devise new strategies to help it going forward.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is more where it becomes very strong management oriented and turnaround side of things.
Yes, I think obviously this COVID-19 experience is making sure that people have to be dynamic, obviously, because the economy landscape is evolving very quickly. Denga, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time and your insights. That was Denga Ramuedzisi. He's a CA and a member of the SAICA Business Rescue Interest Group and a registered business rescue practitioner. We continue to explore the business rescue process. Do stay with us.